Every age has its own false gospels. The great false gospel of our time is just an ancient heresy repackaged. Today, the gospel of our time is don't be a sheep. Live in your authentic self. Be your truth. Live your truth. Be you. Do you. Be yourself. Guide your own life. Be proud to follow the desires of your heart, no matter what they are, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. It's the gospel of our age. This is the good news of our culture. Our culture says the gospel is when you live your truth, you will find ultimate happiness. When you listen to your voice, you will get yourself to the promised land. And so what's the great sin of our culture? The great sin of our culture is not being yourself. The great sin of our culture is to not live in your truth. The great sin of our culture is to be a sheep. But what is our very message to this culture? Don't live in your truth. Live in Jesus' truth. Come, be his sheep. Our message is, dear friend, I love you, and if you follow the desires of your heart, you will follow them right off a cliff from which you will never, ever come back. You follow your heart to your own peril. You follow your heart to your own destruction. Following the desires of your heart is not freedom, my friend. It is the absolute worst kind of slavery there is. Because if you'll hear it, I'll tell you who the authentic you is. The real you. The you want to be is far, far from God. The authentic you is a sinner. The real you is evil. The you that follows your own voice and follows your own heart, that is a rebel. Dear friend, Jesus doesn't call us to be yourself. He doesn't call us to live your truth. Jesus calls us to die to ourself and to live to him. He calls us to die to our truth and live in his truth. He calls us to die to the desires of our own hearts and take on his. He calls us to die to our natural self of rebellion and evil. My shepherd has a very loving call for all of us. Here's my cross. Die to yourself and live to me. Lay down your life, Jesus says, and I will give you my life, which I laid down for the forgiveness of your sins.